top three?
Yeah, Joe and
scoring our top three?
Everybody, yeah. Oh, is that why I can't hear myself? Like, I don't think it was that high. Test.
Hello, test 1 2, test 1 2.
Oh, I can hear you. I just can't hear me.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all. What's going on? Is everything plugged in for you?
This thing shit. Test 1 2 1 2. Oh, is that better? I might be able to hear myself a little bit more.
Oh, I got you now.
Test 1 2 1 2.
Yeah,
Test.
You're a little high now.
Okay, there we go. That's better. Welcome in, folks. All right, talk, Johnny. Give me one.
By the way, we're live.
No, we're not. I don't think we are.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the CRWC for tonight's women's volleyball matchup. It is your Durham Lords versus the visiting Centennial Colts. I'm John Lodge here with Joey Chapman. And Joey, tonight the Lords are going to have the key on the top three for the Colts. That is Mara Pikov, Emily Joe, and Elizabeth Chow.
For sure, John, those three are going to be the key players to watch for the Colts in this game. And just looking at the stats, you can see how effective they've been all season long and how they are really the straw that stirs the drink offensively for the Colts. If the Lords want to come away with a victory here in their last game at home until January, they're going to have to shut those three powerhouses down.
The Lords came out strong in their last matchup, Joey, with a straight sets victory over the George Brown Huskies. They played well as a team. I was talking with Coach Clark today. He said this team they're facing tonight is a much better coached squad, and they're not going to get away with as many unforced errors as they did against the Huskies.
Yeah, we saw the Huskies, John, and they were a winless team coming into the game, and the Lords put them away like they were. They didn't really have a big fight back as the Lords jumped on them early, and Jessica Johansson and the team really found a way to smother the Huskies. And I certainly do expect more from this Colts team. They're only 3-4 on the year, but they do have a win over the number 6 ranked Algonquin Thunder. That's a very tough team. And so they have the power and they have the skill set to come out here with a victory, and the Lords can't look past them despite their record.
And speaking of Jessica Johansson, she'll be starting tonight alongside Cassidy Nicholson-Clark, Allison Towilliker, Athea Bonchef, Megan Romaine, and Alexa Armstrong, and Devin Fraser will be tonight's libero once again. Nicole Vandenheuvel was the starting libero for this earlier week's game against George Brown, but you've seen Fraser come in later on in that contest as libero. Coach Clark seems to stick with his veteran position. Yeah,
we see a lot of Fraser at the libero position, Johnny, and we've seen him switch around. We've seen Coach Clark switch around. You see with Vandenheuvel, sometimes he does it when they're up, but I think in a game like this where it's going to be a tough game at home, you just got to stick with your starter and see if you can jump out to an early lead.
As Durham gives up the first 2 points here to the Centennial Colts. That one forced long on a spike. Durham's going to the key tonight is definitely going to not be getting down early in the sets, Joey.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's going to be important for them to jump out early. I don't think that was a mistake there at all from Fraser. I think that ball was going to land inbounds. She just dived, couldn't get a piece of it. But you're totally right, John. Jumping out early and not falling behind and being able to play in the lead and have control of the game as it goes on is certainly where you want to be.
As the Lords now get it spiked over, but it's blocked by Emily Joe of the Centennial Colts. It's a 4-point lead for Centennial. And Heather Sanchez is holding serve quite well.
Shouldn't at all be surprised to see Joe there with the block. Tied for first with the team with 11 blocks is she, and she's going to be strong all night long there in front of the net. The Lords are going to have to watch out for her.
Durham finally breaks the serve of the Colts there as Sanchez sent it long. Alexa Armstrong, or sorry, not Alexa Armstrong, my apologies, Athea Bonchef. She with the serve there, and Fraser unable to dig that one out as well. That one was smashed down by Centennial.
Pick off there, John, and the captain for this Colts team showing her strength there. Nice play at the net, showing some power on that spike.
Elizabeth Chow with the serve here. Durham sets it up, spiked over, dug out by Centennial, by Sanchez. Fraser sets it up. And a big spike there by Jessica Johansson, but it went long, and the point will go to Centennial. Chow set to serve again.
A couple unforced errors here early, John, as the Lord's going to try and tighten it up here as this set moves forward.
Chow sends it over, dug out there well by the Lords. And sent over by Allison Towilliger, dug out by Centennial. Nice little touch there by Emily Joe. Dug out there by Chow. And set up for their captain, Mara Pikov. And they're going to call it deflection, and it will be Centennial's point. As Chow will continue her service. And Coach Clark has decided he's seen enough. He's called a timeout here, Joey.
Not unsurprising there, John. A 7-1 run to start the game for the Colts. And Coach Clark not at all going to be pleased with how this game started. Unforced errors, unable to hold serve as the Colts getting the exact start that they want, coming here on the road, facing a ranked team like the Lords and jumping out to an early lead. Certainly Coach Chung for the Colts going to be happy with how his team's played here early.
Yeah, and their big three are shining. Pickoff, Joe, and Chow. They're showing why they lead their team in points. And the Lords are definitely going to have to key on those three. I actually talked to Coach Clark about that as well, and he said, yeah, we can't let those three get away with anything easy. We have to make them earn every single point.
And that's exactly what the Lords are going to look to do here, but they have been unsuccessful in doing that so far early in this set. But there's lots of time, and we've seen this group be a resilient one. And I expect them to find themselves back into this set as we move along.
Chow with the serve right at Frazier. Frazier set it up and it was spiked over by Twilliger. Centennial gets it over and set up for Jessica Johansson. Dug out by Libero for Centennial. Sent over on an awkward bump. Frazier sets it up there. And there's a call of a net violation on Durham. Point will go to Centennial.
No, sorry, Johnny. That's what it looked like originally, but the officials pointed the other way, and they're going to reverse it.
Oh, okay.
That violation's going to be on the Colts. I feel for you. I've done that many a time where we see the teams come together and cheer.
Armstrong gets the ball over on her serve. Sets it up. Sent over by Terwilliger. Unable to get it back over was Centennial, and Durham takes another point, breaking up this run by the Colts.
That was a nice little play there at the net by Twilliger. Just a little soft play to get it over and found a good spot.
Captain of the Colts there tries to smash it down. Unable to get it over as it's blocked. I didn't see who blocked it, Joey. I don't know if you did.
Combo block there between Nicholson, Clark, and Johansson from the far left side. They came together and got up, and the two of them were involved in that one.
Nice blocks there. Oh, and sent right at Alexa Armstrong by Mara Pickov. And she was unable to get underneath that one. It kind of just launched forward, and not really a chance for Durham to dig that one out.
Good little service there by Armstrong, though. That's 3 points for the Lords on her serve, and they've cut into this lead a little bit.
Centennial serves it, and it's sent over lightly by Allison Terwilliger, and they will get another point on that one. Terwilliger will have the service.
Sorry, John. It'll be interesting to see if Terwilliger sticks with that for the rest of the night. That's twice in a row now we've seen her with little soft balls over the net, or if she's gonna, or setting up the Colts for that big spike that we know she has.
Terwilliger attacks Chow, and Chow gets it to her captain. Captain Pickoff digs it out, and then sent up and over by Elizabeth Bowers. Unable to dig that out was Fraser. Centennial will take the point as Pickoff takes the service.
And this is going to be one of the players the Colts want serving the ball at 6 foot. The tallest player for the Colts. Pickoff can really put some power on it.
Lords dig that one out and set it up for Terwilliger. Terwilliger just gets it off the hand of Chanel Woods, and it deflects to the ground. The Lords will get the point and break the service early of Pickoff, and that's a great job there by the Lords, not allowing Pickoff to retain serve.
And that's a change there from Terwilliger. She was going soft when she was in the front court. Now she's in the back court, and she loads up for that big power slam and gets the point.
Johansson with the service, and double touch there. Double touch there by Cassidy Nicholson Clark. The point will go to Centennial.
Tough play for Clark there at the net. It was a very bang play. After coming down from the block, she just couldn't get under it enough. And the Colts get the ball back here.
Centennial's number 3, Elizabeth Bowers. Sorry, it's the first time I've been doing. Oh, and a nice play there by Cassidy Nicholson Clark, making up for that poor play at the net. She gets it over and smashes it down, gets the point back and the service back for Durham.
And she will.
And she will take the serve too.
Cassidy Nicholson Clark, very skilled around the net, does not make those mistakes often, and she's pretty good on serve too.
The ball is sent over directly, dug out there by Nicholson Clark on a dive. And set up for Chow. Nice block there by Durham. They send it over on one bump. Don't think that's what they were looking to do. Chow smashes it down, and it gets deflected off of Durham's hands and goes out of bounds. Centennial will take the point there. Yeah. Chow showing why she's one of the leaders for the Colts.
Yeah, tough break there for Megan Romaine going up on that block. Just hits off the side of her arm, and nothing she can do about that.
Chanel Woods with the serve there, dug out by Frazier, and set up. Smashed down there by Althea Bonchef. She gets the point there. Finds a big hole in the defense of the Centennial Colts, Joey.
Yeah, she went across court there and picked on Chanel Woods, who shaking her head after that play. The ball looked like it went right through her hands, and coach takes her out after that miscue.
Megan Romaine with the long service there, giving the ball right back to Centennial. And Heather Sanchez will have the ball.
It's been a good little resilient comeback here for the Lords, though, John. They've cut this lead back to 4. It was 6 at the timeout from Coach Clark. They look to just pick away here in this first set.
Another nice soft play there by the Lords, this time by Althea Bonchef. And the Colts expecting something much harder, unable to get to that soft ball. Bonchef will have the serve.
Yeah, she's going
to give it up for Raymond.
Coming in. Sarah Raymond rocking the left knee brace, but lots on her serve. We've seen it all season long, John.
Coming in as a serve specialist here, I assume, is Raymond. As the captain of the Colts, Mara Pickov, does it again and attacks right at Raymond, unable to dig it out.
Yeah, Pickov just showing how dangerous she can be, John. She's been involved in at least a good half dozen of the Colts points here early in this game.
Chow with the long serve again, trying to get too much on it, trying to put it into too tight of a spot and unable to do so. Gives the ball right back to Durham. Durham will take it, and we have another check-in here, as it looks like Althea Bonchef will check out for Cassidy Nicholson Clark. I don't know when she checked out, but I must have missed it.
Things happen quick, Johnny. I hear you.
Point goes to Durham there. 2 touches on the Colts. I didn't see who set it up, but it looked like Pickov was going up for another big smash again. It's a good thing that call got for Durham. Set up there for number 34, Elizabeth Bowers of the Colts, and unable to get it past the block of the Durham Lords. Seems like it might have been Allison Terwilliger up there.
Yeah, Terwilliger along with Nicholson Clark going up for another double block, as the Lords have been successful doing that here early in the set.
Sent long there by Elizabeth Bowers of the Colts. And the Lords have tied the game. Joey's showing some resilience and coming back in this one all the way.
Yeah, Coach Clark liking what he's seeing, clapping his hands, really showing some encouragement to his players as they've answered back after a sluggish start here.
Dugout there by Hancock. And deflected off of Durham, out of bounds. I was waiting, sorry, for the referee's call there.
Yeah, Romaine just couldn't get enough of that ball, as the one and only Mira Pickoff again hammers that down, and just a little too much for the Lords.
Joe set to serve the ball here for Centennial, goes right at Raymond. Smash down there by Nicholson Clark, very strong, goes right to the feet of Kadisha Powell Graham. Unable to get that one. Durham ties the game once again.
That was pretty textbook for the Lords. Bump, set, spike, John, and hammered down there by Nicholson Clark.
Awkward there for the Colts, but it works out as Captain Pickoff does it again, shows why she is the captain of this squad, and decides to go light instead of heavy, and just out of the reach of Sarah Raymond. Pickoff with the serve. Sends it over right at Raymond. Set up there for Nicholson Clark, and the nice little touch. Dug out by Centennial, sent over by Pickoff. Dug out again, sent over by Frazier. Great rally so far here. And sent, they're going to say it was off of Durham.
Yeah, I think that just hit the fingertips of Cassie Nicholson Clark at the net there, John. She went up to block it.
I was hoping it got over the block, but I guess not, as it goes out long. Pickoff with the serve again, right at Raymond. Set up there, Raymond will knock it over lightly. Going for the block, dug out there by Nicholson Clark, and Nicholson Clark looks to send it over, goes to Pickoff. Set up, and unable to get it was Jessica Johansson. as Elizabeth Bowers spikes it wide and just gets it inside the line, Joey.
Yeah, that was a tough play for Johansson, John. All her weight was on her right foot, and all of a sudden that ball came back to her left, and she just couldn't dive over and get it fast enough. Nice play there from the Colts.
Yeah, completely. Just as we say that, Johansson goes up to smash it and gets blocked, and she bumps it and gets set up for her. She just touches it there. And a net violation, point for Durham, net violation on the Centennial Colts.
Oh, as they reversed it, I thought that was going to go against Johansson, as she definitely made contact at the net. But I guess so did the Colts. And Johansson's been uncharacteristically quiet here early, John, but I got a feeling that's not going to be for long, as she's been so good for the Lords all season long.
This pickoff sends it over. It's dug out there and sent over by Terwilliger, but that's going to be long, Joey. These unforced errors are killing the Lords.
Yeah, they did a good job at limiting those in their comeback here when they tied this game up in the last couple plays, just a couple miss hits and giving the Colts easy points and putting them back on serve exactly where they want to be.
As Chow comes in for Kadisha Powell-Graham. It's sent right into the net by Elizabeth Bowers on a less than ideal serve. Gives it right back to the Lords, and Cassidy Nicholson-Clark will take the service.
Yeah, the Scarborough, Ontario native not going to be happy with that attempt, as didn't really have a chance to get over the net, was that serve.
Nicholson-Clark gets it over the net, attacks right at Caitlin Hancock, and sent long there by Chow. The Lords are back within 1 point. This is going to be a close game here, as it has been since the Lords have come back. That first time tied it at 13. To see if they can come back again and tie it at 18 here on Cassidy Nicholson-Clark's serve. Unfortunately, she sends that one long, as I'm stumbling over my words. And the Colts will get serve with Chanel Woods. Someone almost got showered by Joey's tee.
They almost lost it there, Johnny. It would not have been good. There's totally people sitting under there, but we saved their lives. Don't worry about it. Come out to the Campus Wellness Recreation Center.
Sit underneath us. You'll enjoy the game. Lena Mack with the serve here. She comes in as a substitution. Set up there and nicely sent over by Alexa Armstrong with the soft touch. Gets the Lords back within 1. And Megan Romaine will have the serve.
At 6'1" or 2, Alexa Armstrong can do anything she wants at the net, and I think she caught the Colts a little off guard with that soft play.
Romaine attacked Hancock with the serve, sent over there, dug out and set up there for Jessica Johansson. Chow with the hard smash there, gets it off of Alexa Armstrong, and it goes out of bounds as we get a timeout here for Durham. Coach Clark takes his second timeout of the game.
Yeah, that's a good timeout there from Coach Clark. He's let his girls play through a couple mistakes here on this comeback, but they've been the better team, I think, in the second half of this first set. But now 5 points away from losing it. Coach Clark just calming everybody down, rallying the troops. They know they can play with this team. Now it's just not making the unforced errors and forcing the Colts into making the mistakes.
Yeah, I think that it's impressive that Coach Chong didn't call a timeout when Durham came back that first time. He was able to just trust his team, use his substitutions, and save his timeouts for maybe later in this if Durham starts coming back and pushing for the set. Very impressive, very well coached team, I think. Yeah,
that's a good point, John. Is easily a timeout could have been called there for the Colts when the Lords tied it up either time at 12 or at 18s, but the good confidence shown from the head coach of the Colts, letting his girls battle through it, and they've rewarded them here by jumping out to a 2-point lead.
Heather Sanchez with the serve here. She gets it over the net. It's dug out. And a call here by the refs. A lift.
Yeah, a lift being called there by the official is
so it'll be Colts ball.
I'm not quite sure about that call, and neither is Coach Clark, because he wanted a bit of an explanation, and so does Megan Romaine.
He's sending Megan Romaine over to get one. Romaine tells Coach, and Coach gives a thumbs up to the ref. That's about the only finger you can put up at the ref. That's Romaine.
Certainly.
sets it up there. Beautifully dug out by the Colts, and Frazier. It gets set up nicely for Alexa Armstrong. She smashes it down right in the face of Heather Sanchez. Great job there by Alexa Armstrong, Joey.
Yeah, Alexa Armstrong, one of the players, John, who's got more and more playing time as the season's progressed. The first-year player certainly having to earn her time, but she's done a good job here all season long, and she's come in and been on the court a lot here in this first set.
That'll go out of bounds off the Lords. Colts will get the point. They're 3 points away from the set victory here. And team leader Elizabeth Chow, or one of the team leaders, Elizabeth Chow, set to serve. Lords get it set up for Terwilliger. Terwilliger smashes it right at Chow. Chow gets it dug out. It's set up for Pickoff. Pickoff gets blocked, but it goes off the hands of, I'll say, Johansson. And Johansson and Armstrong falls inbounds there, Joey. 2 points away from a set loss for the Lords. As Chow is set to serve again.
Got to get service back here. Can't let the Colts serve for the set here.
Chow gets it over and it's set up for Terwilliger. Terwilliger with a nice little touch there. Not going hard and just going with the precision strike, or the soft strike there. Gets the service back just as you said, Joey.
And that's something we've seen from Terwilliger in the front court, John, using the soft play and finding the open spots in the Colts defense.
As Pickoff smashes that one into her own side of the net, gives the Lords another point here, and it looks like
Vanden Heuvel's coming in.
There's a substitution. Vanden Heuvel's going to come in and take the serve here.
Yeah, we see this a lot from Coach Clark, trusting Vanden Heuvel with these big service opportunities.
Vanden Heuvel directly right at Caitlin Hancock, just barely able to get it, and that's inbounds there. A nice strike by Elizabeth Bowers of the Colts, and it will let the Colts serve for the set.
You can't hit that any better if you're Elizabeth Bowers. Vanden Heuvel was sure that ball was going out of bounds, and it just touches the far left line, and that's a beautifully played ball there by Bowers.
Emily Joe is set to serve here for the set for the Colts. It's do or die here for the Lords, as that's sent long, and the Lords will get the ball back, but they have to win every point from here on out, Joey. Because you turn the ball over, and that's the set.
Can't lose it here, and Allison Terwilliger is going to have the set in her hands, and she's going to be the player serving for the Lords.
Terwilliger sends it directly at the libero, but taken by Cho, blocked there at the net by Nicholson Clark, sent to Pickoff, set up by Raymond, right to Johansson. Johansson with the smash, dug out. Blocked, sent up for Pickoff, and Pickoff smashes it down. Team captain for the Colts takes the set for them. The Colts go up 1-0 early in this game here, Joey, as they show that they are not going to go down easy. They're looking to get up in rankings themselves.
Yeah, Mary Pickoff really showing her dominance in that first set, as she was by far the best player on the court for either team. Definitely led in total attacks and kills in that set, and she did such a good job at controlling the pace of play, and really whenever the Colts needed a point, she found herself there to hammer the ball down. Case in point there on the final point of the set.
Yeah, Joey, the Lords need to clean up those unforced errors, as Bossman Clark is throwing t-shirts to people who probably don't want them.
Lots of t-shirts being given away here. There's a deep bomb there, and for the Lords, Sean, one of the few sets they've lost here at home. They've been on such a good home team. Only the fourth set they've dropped at home all season long. Favoritism
by Chris. I seen him talking to these three at the top earlier before the game, and he just directly threw them a shirt. Tisk tisk. Anyway, you were saying?
Just this is such a surprising start for the Lords, John, just because of how good they've been here at home, not giving up many points, winning most of the sets here. Very good home record. They've lost just the one game here at home. That was way back when they lost to Loyalist in the beginning of the month. And now they have to find a way to be resilient and come back. And you talked about it at the beginning of that first set, John, how you thought the key was going to be whoever jumped out to an early lead. And you were exactly right, as that's exactly what the Colts did. They jumped out early, 8-1. They forced the Lords to take their timeouts, and they really never looked back, despite the Lords finding a way to tie up the set a couple times. the Colts really found themselves in control and not really in trouble at all that entire first set.
Yeah, they have to put a lot of energy into comebacks, right? So, the Colts can maybe lay back a little bit and are playing a little bit easier in those comebacks, and then they put the pressure on again, and then eventually it takes a lot of your energy out of the game, right? So that's why the lead is so important in this one. It's fine if it goes back and forth, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, but you're getting down 5 and 8 points. You got to put a lot of enthusiasm into it to get back those 8 points, and then sometimes once you get there, you're like, oh, I can relax a little bit, and then you get down again.
Yeah, fighting from behind is just not where you want to play the game, and the Lords did a good job at fighting back, John, but I don't really think they had one of those big 10-point runs, 8-point runs, where they found a way to really shut down the Colts for a long stretch of time. Felt like the Lords were getting their points, and then they'd lose serve and get it back, and it went really back and forth instead of the Lords showing their dominance and going on a big run, which I don't really think happened at all in that first set, and they're certainly going to want to try and do it here in the second.
Yeah, I agree with you. Maybe we'll see more of Nicole Vanden Heuvel for service. Seeing as she can only check, as in volleyball, you can only check in for the person that you've checked in for. You can't sub in for anyone. It depends on how often the coach wants to sub her out. Yeah, she seems great on service and is able to get it into those tight spots that Lords need to get it in to get the points. So we're getting ready here for the second set.
Looks like McBurney's going to check in here for the Lords, John, as he didn't really make a lot of changes in the first set. He kept his rotation fairly small, but McBurney coming in as trying to spark a little bit of offense, and can't hurt putting the 6'2" player onto the court, that's for sure. Automatically becomes the second tallest player on the court with Alexa Armstrong. Actually, she came in for Alexa, so she is the tallest person on the court. As she gets it over and gets it off the hands of Mary Pickov. And I do apologize to Mary for mispronouncing her first name the whole first set. Thank you for saving me. I got you, pal.
As she immediately makes an impact there. And unfortunately, Megan Romaine gives that point right back to the Colts as she gets a little bit too much on that serve and sends it about 10 feet too long.
Yeah, that was a long one. Romaine just hit that fat and really hit that ball long, and she's going to want that one back.
As Joe serves it there, gets dug out by Frazier. Set up for Johansson. Set up there by the Colts for Chow, but Chow sends it wide. The Lords gain that point back, and they will get service back, as well as Sarah Raymond set to serve.
Raymond coming into this game with 7 aces on the year, and she doesn't serve all the time for the Lords, but when she does, she's very confident and does a good job of getting the ball over the net.
As Chow had to dig that one and get it over in one strike. Johansson sends it directly to Bowers, blocked up at the net there by the Lords. Pickov sends it over because she has to. Frazier digs it out, sent it to Terwilliger. Terwilliger with the light touch there. Chow smashes it down, dug out by Frazier. Great rally here as Romaine sets it up for Johansson. Johansson's smash there is blocked by Pickov. Chow has to send it over. It's blocked at the net, dug out there. Romaine sets it up, and unfortunately, no.
A net violation.
Net violation.
Yeah, the Lords catch a break. As you were right, that was an excellent rally, probably the best one we've had all match long. And the Lords come away with a bit of a break there as the net violation on the Colts. And McBurney really rewarding Coach early, as I think she's been solid here the first 4 points of the set. Yeah, she really made herself known there. Chow there sends it long, as the Lords will now get a 4-1 lead. And if they can keep this going, they're reversing their fortunes from the first set, and they're doing exactly what we said in the break, what they needed to do, taking that lead and forcing the Colts to exert more energy. Yeah, playing from the lead is just more fun, and it's easier to control the game, especially in volleyball where serve's so important. And if you're on serve, you can control where the ball's going. And Terwilliger smash there, gets blocked at the line. Oh, a great job there by McBurney and Terwilliger, getting up nice and tall, blocking that one and retaining serve for Raymond. And man, you said Raymond has 7 aces. Well, she's having a great service as well. Yeah, really serving the ball well here as the Lords. Just as we say that, broadcaster cursor right there, and she sends it into the net. Unfortunate, but great service nonetheless, as she got the Lords on top in this one, 5-2. That's certainly the way they wanted to start, John. It's better to start up 5-2 than down 1-8, that's for sure.
Bowers serves it directly at Fraser, set up by Romaine for Johansson, blocked at the line and unable to dig that out. It goes out off the hands of Pickoff and Woods for Lord's point.
And that's really the first time we've seen Jessica Johansson tonight, John, as she's been kind of quiet. Expect her to heat up, and maybe that's the start of good things for her and the Lords.
McBurney serves it directly at Chow, set up there for Pickoff. Pickoff sends it wide, and all of a sudden, everything is going wide or long for the Colts, Joey.
Yeah, it's a bit of a reversal of fortune. In first set, it was the Lords making the unforced errors. Now it's the Colts, and it reflects on the scoreboard.
McBurney hits that one fat right into the net, and she's going to get checked out for Fraser, the libero. Chow set to serve for the Colts. Gets up right at Fraser. Romaine sets it up for Terwilliger. Smashed, and they're going to say that hit the floor, and I tend to agree with them as Fraser, or was it? I'm sorry, I can't see her number. Johansson?
Johansson on the far close side, number 6 is Johansson, yeah.
Unfortunately, oh no, it might have been Raymond unable to get to that one, as we'll get back to play here. Set up for Bowers. Bowers gets blocked at the net. Set up there for Pickoff. Romaine bumps it. Set up by Raymond. Terwilliger looks to hit this one. She gets it in, and unable to dig that one out cleanly was Caitlin Hancock. The Lords take an 8-4 lead here, and Terwilliger is set to serve.
That was a kind of a lucky break there for the Lords. They didn't get the look they wanted coming back the other way, but a nicely placed ball by Terwilliger. She puts it in a good spot and gets the points.
Terwilliger serves it directly at Chow, set up there for Pickoff, block. Pickoff digs it out, sent back wide, but unable to get it. Bad play there. Bowers was put in a bad position. She wasn't able to dig that one out. The Lords retain serve, get another point, and take a 5-point lead. Terwilliger set to serve again. Terwilliger sends it in directly at Chow once again, and set up there for Pickoff. Dug out by Fraser. Romaine's going to set it up here, and it's going to get softly touched over there by Nicholson Clark, but it will go wide and out. Joey, you said it earlier, the Lords need to retain service, and they've been doing a better job of that this set so far.
For sure, John. They've done a good job at keeping serves and being the team controlling the pace of play, as they just need to be consistent with that and stop making the errors.
As Chow digs that one out, and Pickoff looks to send it over. Romaine bumps it. Set up there by Fraser for Raymond. Raymond sends it in. Nice. And Raymond digs that one out as well. Romaine sets it up for Terwilliger, and it's going out off the hands of Heather Sanchez. It's a Lord's point. Nice rally there again by both sides.
Yeah, and that was all Sarah Raymond there. She playing in the back middle, got that ball hit to her 3 or 4 times, and every time she came up with a good play and found a way to get the point for the Durham Lords. Johansson
serves it at Chow. She digs it out there. Romaine sets it up for Raymond. Raymond with the soft touch, dug out by Sanchez. Hancock has it set up there for Bowers, blocked at the line. Chow bumps it there, set up for Joe, and blocked there by Nicholson Clark at the net. Getting up nice and tall and getting the point again for the Lords. Johansson looks to serve again.
Yeah, big point there by Nicholson Clark, because she just went up and stuffed that ball on the Colts.
And Centennial will use their first timeout of the game. The first time out in both sets for Centennial, as the Lords have done what they needed to do, getting on top of them and forcing Coach Chung to make some adjustments and maybe even come out with some substitutions.
Yeah, it's been a tale of 2 sets here early, John, as the Lords were the ones who fell out to a early deficit in the first, and now they've done the exact opposite here to the Colts, and a bit of a bigger lead as they're up by 6 here, 11-5. And they're really doing a good job of putting the pressure on. I think they've also done a good job here early in this set, is really isolating Mary Pickoff, who we haven't seen be as dominant here in the second set. And I think that's because the Lords are doing a deliberate job of keeping the ball away from her and not letting her dominate this game like she did back in the first.
Yeah, she was definitely a huge part of the first set, victory, gaining a lot of those points for the Colts. And I do agree with you. The Lords are now keying in more on the specialty players of the Colts. They are attacking Chow specifically on service. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I haven't, but I'll certainly keep my eye on that, is what they're trying to do.
As Hancock there gets the service this time, and touched over there, set up for pickoff. Pickoff blocked at the net and unable to get to it were both Frazier and Romaine. Unable to dig that one, it kind of landed in between both their fists. And
that would have been
Wonder
Colts
Twins
point
power activate there.
Yes, I think that would have been Colts point either way, Johnny, as Nicholson Clark also made contact with the net, as that was a tough one there for the Lords.
Pick off with the serve, set up by Romaine, sent over, dugout there by Chow, as Bowers gets it up and over there, set up by Romaine. Nice little touch by Bonchef, who checks back into this game after the timeout, and sent long by Pickoff. And the Lords will get this point. They have doubled up the Colts 12-6 in this second set.
And McBurney comes back in here for the Lords in the front court, adding a little bit of size up there.
Nicholson Clark with the service directly into the net. Unfortunately, unable to take advantage of that one as she checks out here for libero Frazier. Bowers with the service for the Colts. 12-7 for Durham in the second set of this one. Bowers sends it over directly to Johansson. Johansson gets up, sends it over, hits it at Hancock. Set up for Joe. Dug it there by Frazier, and unable to get there is Johansson. She pulls up because she would have gone directly into those stands, and they don't feel too good when you dive into them, so they'll just take the point loss there, Joey.
Yeah, definitely don't blame Jessica Johansson for that. No reason to be diving headfirst into these bleachers, especially when you're up by 4.
Bowers with the serve again. That one goes out and wide, not long.
Don't see that very often, John. Normally it's long. You rarely see a ball go wide here on service. Trying
to hit that corner, trying to be too much finesse, too much technique there, not getting into the fat part of the court. Chow sends it up, dugout there by Frazier, but unable to get too much on it as she was spun around and upside down on the court there. Looked like a very uncomfortable position for Frazier.
And that was really the best play we've seen from Elizabeth Cho all night, John. Is one of the big 3 here for the Colts has been fairly quiet.
Sent long there as that one hits Coach Clark, easy for me to say, directly in the foot. And he is not inbounds, although he may like to be, but he is not.
And like I was saying, yeah, for Cho, that's going to be big if she can get going, and you certainly see the skill on that last spike by her.
Net violation there called on Durham, and the Colts will get a point there. Yeah, that's going to be huge. If Cho can get going for the Colts, then the Lords are going to have to key in on her as well. And then you're putting too much attention on 2 players, and the supporting cast is going to kill you. As Terwilliger there sends it deflected off the hands of Cho, out of bounds. Terwilliger, McBurney is going to have the service here as Frazier gets checked out of the game. They attack Cho again with the serve and block up of the net. Cassidy Nicholson Clark unable to get enough of it as it falls down on their side of the net, and Cho will have the serve here.
As Pickoff gets on the board here in this second set with a big spike.
Frazier back in now for McBurney. Cho sends it directly. Sorry, I missed that. Johansson hits it there. Dugout by Centennial, sent over by Chow. Romaine gets it. Johansson gets up to smash it, but the referees have a call, and they're going to call a 2-touch there on Raymond. Or not Raymond, sorry, on Romaine.
That was interesting. Her hands definitely didn't look like they were level, but I don't know if I thought that was a double touch from up here. The official's obviously closer, and they get to make the rules here, John.
Johansson takes the serve, set up by Romaine, smashed by Johansson, but blocked, and it goes back to Durham's side to an empty spot on the court as Pickoff gets the point. And Coach Clark is not happy. We can hear him yelling from up here, Joey.
Yeah, telling his team they're all watching instead of moving. And Coach Clark, I think, with a smart timeout after the Colts had their timeout, John, they found a way to go on a bit of a run here and cut this lead down to 2. And Coach Clark not at all happy with what he's seen. And he's going to call a timeout and try and rally his troops, especially when they're already down a set here at home, to not afford to let this streak get any larger for the Colts, as Durham desperately needs to win this set.
Yeah, Coach Clark said before the game that the Colts are a very well-coached team. And he knows that, and that's why I think he's getting so upset that his girls aren't listening to his coaching, because they're going to get out-coached. You don't see that sort of discord coming from the Colts side of the court. The Lords need to get it together a little bit. They're playing good. They're playing good this set, but they're getting a little bit lazy later on, or in this we'll say second third of this set here. So they need to get back on their game as Romaine sets it up for Johansson. She gets it smashed and blocked again at the net. Blocked by Pickoff and by Woods at the net there, and it goes inbounds into another empty spot on the court for Durham.
We've seen Chanel Woods have a couple good blocks as this game's gone on here.
As Romaine sets it up there, Terwilliger gets it over. Sanchez to Pickoff. Dugout, but unable to keep it in bounds was Bonchef.
Just like that.
And it's a tie game, Joey. The Lords have let the Colts back into this set, and before they know it, they could be down, and maybe even be down for 2 sets to none if they don't watch out here. Cho sets it up right at Johansson, set up by Romaine, smashed over, dugout, and again unable to get it over is Durham, and they now are losing this one 16-15.
And that's Woods there again at the net with another good block, John, as this little front court here for the Colts has really stepped up and causing fits for the Lords at the net.
Cho sends it, and it goes off the hands of Bonchef. Has to be bumped over by Johansson, set up by Sanchez, and Woods gets it over with the soft touch. Romaine sends it to Terwilliger, blocked at the net, bumped up by Pickoff, set up by Sanchez, and Bauer sends it long, and the Lords are able to tie this one up. And now they need to get something out of their services. We're gonna have Cho check out now for Kadisha Powell-Graham. Maybe just to get a little bit of a break, a little bit of breather. Terwilliger will have the service here. She gets it up over the net, attacks Hancock. Woods with the smash, dugout, and unable to get it. Bonchef is a little bit of a liability for me right now, Joey, as she's getting checked out for Raymond. Maybe, I don't know if she's got her head in the game, or just, I don't know what it is. She just seems like she's a half step slower than the rest of them, and I think this is a good call here by Coach Clark.
Yeah, when you're down like this, you can't afford to be leaving players in who are making mistakes. We've seen a couple here from Bonchef here in this game. Normally very sure-handed with the ball, but maybe just not feeling it here in this set, as she hasn't got a ton of playing time, and that may not continue with those errors on that play.
As Romaine sends it over, and that's gone out off the hands of the Colts as the Lords do tie it up again. Nothing against Bonchef, you know. Some nights you just don't have it, right? And it seemed like she was just like a half step slower. I'm sure she'll get some more playing time tonight, but maybe not in tight situations.
Yeah, the Lords just need to focus on winning this set here, John. They can ill afford to fall down 2 sets to nothing.
Blocked there at the net by the Colts, and I missed who blocked it. It looks like
I believe
it was Joe and Sanchez who blocked that one, as the captain Pickoff will have the serve. Pickoff serves it directly at Frazier. Gets smashed down, dugout there by Johansson. Set up by Raymond for Johansson. Johansson sends it directly at Hancock. Sanchez sets it up for Bowers, but it will go out of bounds off the hands of Cassidy Nicholson-Clark.
Bowers doing a good job there, using the angle of the defenders, hammering that into their arms, knowing it was going to bounce out of bounds and going to be a Colts point.
Pickoff with the service again, sends it directly at Frazier. Dugout by Raymond, sent over by Nicholson-Clark. Sanchez sets it up for Bowers. Bowers sends it to a empty spot on the court with a little bit of finesse there. Joey gets it just on the line inbounds. 3-point lead now for the Colts.
We saw Bowers, sorry John, we saw Bowers make a couple mistakes in the first set, but she's really stepped up here late in the second, coming on strong for the Colts.
Oh, and unfortunately there, Johansson unable to get underneath that one and sends it directly to the court. It's a 4-point lead, and Coach Clark taking his timeout, taking a sip from his water bottle, and I don't even know if he has anything to say. I think he might leave this to the assistants. As I just say that, I see him talking a little bit there, but he doesn't seem too pleased with what's going on in this set, as Durham did have the lead, but they let the Colts right back into this one, and they're on the precipice of losing another set to a team that's unranked.
Yeah, it was, I believe it was 15-9 at the Colts timeout, John, and all of a sudden they've been outscored here 12-2 as the Colts have gone on a big run in this game, and the Lords very disappointingly blowing this early lead that they had in the set. They started the set exactly how you wanted them to, going up big and taking the early lead, and all of a sudden the Colts have chipped away slowly and surely at it, and now we're in an almost identical position as the first sets, with the Colts with the ball in their hand, the opportunity to serve for the match.
As Pickoff is waiting for Durham to return to the court. Seems like the same group that left is coming back out. Pickoff gets the serve up there, and it's deflected off the hands of Johansson again. That one was going to go inbounds for sure.
Yeah, certainly a tough call there for Johansson. I think you're right, John. I think that ball had a real opportunity to hit that back line.
Pickoff is controlling service quite well here. She sends it up again. She goes right at Johansson, and she's got nothing right now. I don't know what's going on, Joey. This is 3 straight services that have gone off of her hands and bounced directly to the floor, or bounced out of bounds, as Coach Clark is now going to get her out of this one for Vanden Heuvel, for Nicole Vanden Heuvel. Yeah,
it hasn't been the strongest of games for Jessica Johansson, John. Normally so dominant for the Lords at the front of the net. She really hasn't found it here. Only a couple real points for Johansson all night long.
And the Lords send that one long and give the Colts another point there, as Cassidy Nicholson-Clark sent it wide, and Pickoff is going to serve for the match, and she served for at least 7 points now, Joey.
Just the game, not the match yet, Johnny.
Sorry, the set is what I meant. As Romaine digs that one out, sent over by Raymond. Pickoff set up there by Sanchez, blocked at the net, as Terwilliger gets it there, and Raymond sends it over. Pickoff sets it up, and the Lords will gain a point here, as they're going to get a 2-touch call on the Colts. But this is more than a difficult situation, Joey.
Yeah, certainly here, John, and it's going to be Jonica Babb coming in here.
First time we've seen her tonight.
Yeah, with the opportunity on serve. Vanden Heuvel's already in the game, so she couldn't come in to be the service expert here.
Babb sends it over, and Sanchez sends it wide. The Lords will get another point here. They're going to have to score out in order to take this set. That's one of the most difficult things you can do, and they've got 6 points to do it in. Babb sends it over, set up by Sanchez, and it's inbounds there for the set victory by Joe. And the Lords are down 2-0 and are none too happy about how they've performed so far this game. You've got Bonchef and Johansson, who are having less than ideal contests so far, Joey. It's not a good look.
And this just could be the result of a lot of volleyball in a short amount of time, John. This is their 4th game since Saturday. They were at Algonquin and at La Cite. They obviously played here on Tuesday, and now they're back again on Thursday. So it's 4 games in 6 days for this Lords team. And you mentioned, John, that multiple players just look a half step off, a little slow. That could be fatigue. It could also be a bit of a lack of confidence here. They jumped out to that early lead in the set. They looked confident. Everything seemed to be the way they wanted it to go. They were controlling serve. We were talking about how well they were playing. And then somewhere along the way, the Colts went on a run, and the Lords kind of fell apart. They couldn't find a way to get back over 20 points. They couldn't get on a run in the second half of the set. and that really hurt them as they couldn't really get it going after jumping out to that big lead. And now they're in a bigger, deeper hole, down 2-0 here at home against a team that we know is very good. Despite their record, only 4-3. Like I mentioned earlier, they beat Algonquin. They're a good club, and they're showing their talent here really on this Lord's team.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're showing that they're more than just an unranked squad, Joey. And the Lords are now going to have to fight back tooth and nail to get the victory tonight, down 2-0. They've put themselves in a situation that you never want to be in.
Certainly, John. And this is going to be a tough situation for the Lords to try and get the comeback here. I don't believe they've played a 5-set game all. Well, they have. They have played a 5-set game, John. They've played a 5-setter taking on Georgian in the first game of the year, and then versus Candor in the second game in a year. That game at Candor was here. There was no stream for that game. Unfortunately, we were not here for it. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm almost that they haven't come back from 2-0 to win. And as I say that, I'm proven wrong. As I'm looking at it now against Candor here at home, back on the 10th of October, or the 29th of October, John. They fell behind in the first 2 sets, 25-16, 25-16, and found a way to win that game. So they know they can do it. They've done it before. Yeah, they didn't do that against Georgian. They split the first 2 sets. So they've had the opportunity, and they've shown that they can come back from 2 sets to love this season. And they're certainly going to want to draw on that experience moving forward here in this game, as we see a bit of a change as Vanden Heuvel's now going to wear the libero jersey instead of Fraser.
Yeah, that is interesting, eh?
It's Coach Clark looking to change things up here, trying to get something going for his team offensively.
As Romaine gets too much into that serve again, she might want to think of taking a couple extra steps back if she's going to put that much into it. Maybe launching it from a little bit further away, because that's the second time I've seen her do that and send it long. It's not a good thing to start off and give the serve away right away. Bonchef sets it up, and Romaine sets it up back for Bonchef. Smashed over and almost dug out there, but unable to get it was Sanchez. And the Lords regain that first point. Bonchef set to serve here.
Back in to start this set is Bonchef. See if she can respond after.
Directly at Hancock, set up by Sanchez to pick off. And I lost my voice there for a second, unable to dig it out. Unable to dig it out was Raymond. No. Johansson, my apologies, not Raymond. I look for the knee brace when I talk about Raymond. As Cho sends it over directly at Johansson, set up by Romaine. Hancock sends it over and dug out by Romaine. Sanchez gets it set up there and sent inbounds. That was Woods, and that's not a good look there.
It looked like Woods took a little bit off that, John. She reached way back, and then it landed very softly as she found the open spot in the court on the Lords defense and really just made them pay there.
Yeah, the Lords thought that one was going long, and just as I say that, Johansson sends it long. It's a 4th point there for the Colts. As the Lords are down early in this 3rd set, then you can't let this go on any longer. You have to turn over service here. Cho is set to serve again for the 3rd time. Cho gets it up and gets it right at Vanden Heuvel, set up by Romaine. Sent over directly at Cho. She digs it out. Sanchez sets it up for Pekov. Dug out and set up by Vanden Heuvel for Terwilliger. Terwilliger didn't get it all. Sanchez sets it up for Bowers. Bowers sends it long, it deflects off Vanden Heuvel and out. It's a 5-1 lead here. Coach Clark not looking like he's in a good mood. Neither would I be.
Sorry, John. Yeah, this is just not at all the start to this set that the Lords wanted, as they needed to come out strong, and there's another unforced error as they've allowed the Colts to dominate here early in this 3rd set. And the confidence seems to be a little bit lost here for the Lords at home.
Yeah, they're a little bit down on themselves right now, and having to come back takes a lot of energy. as Cho is set to serve again. She attacks Vandenheuvel with the serve. Romaine tries to dig that one out and sent over by McBurney directly at Cho. Set up by Sanchez. A pickoff, smashes it. Sanchez digs that one out. Bauer sends it over, dug out again by Cho, and it goes out of bounds off the hands of Cho, and the Lords will finally break Cho's service.
Yeah, Romaine with a nice play there. John, just watching that ball hit the ground. It was awfully close to the touch line, but Megan Romaine with good eyes there and letting that ball fall for the Lords to regain service. McBurney
sends it directly at Hancock. It's set up there, and right at the hands of McBurney, and unable to get underneath it. It deflects off her hands and goes out as she checks out for Vandenheuvel. And it seems like we're not going to see much of Fraser anymore tonight.
Yes, she hadn't seen the court here at all in this third set, so we will
Woods
keep an eye
gets
on
it over. Terwilliger sends it just over, nice and soft, off the hands of Woods. Unable to get it was Woods. Terwilliger will retain her service here. And Erin Marshall checks in for the first time for Megan Romaine. Terwilliger sends it over directly at Cho. Dug out there by Sanchez, sent over by Pickoff and directly at Terwilliger, who was unable to get in underneath it. 8-3 for the Colts. Pickoff is set to serve here. This is not going the way of Durham Lords, Joey, not at all tonight. These sets, all these sets seem to be going in the way of the Colts. As the Lords try to get something going here, Johansson with the soft touch, deflected over the top, dug out by Vandenheuvel, and set up by Marshall. Terwilliger sends it over, touched there by Joe. Hancock sets it up for Pickoff, who sends it over light right at Terwilliger. And sent over light there was Marshall. The Lords will get the point there on the lift by the Colts. And they will break the serve as Jessica Johansson is set to serve. The Lords, if they have any hope here, they need to make this service last and come back here. Johansson sends it right at Cho. Sanchez sets it up, and it's smashed there by Joe right at Johansson, unable to dig that one out. And just as I say that, the Colts turn the service over.
Yeah, Emily Joe there just shutting down all hopes of the Lords trying to extend that service. So she went up and hammered that ball down. And Emily Joe, who's been kind of quiet all night long, makes a nice play there.
And the Lords let another one go that lands inbounds. Bad play there by the Lords.
It's not... I don't want to sound biased, John, but it's not like the Colts have played a great game here. They haven't been dominant, I don't think. I think it's more the Lords have kind of beaten themselves with unforced errors and missed plays. They certainly haven't played as well as a team as we've seen them throughout the season, as there's been a lot less kills, there's been a lot less assists as a team. They seem to be just hitting the ball over instead of setting it up for attacks, and they've really struggled here to find their offensive game, and Coach Clark cannot be happy what he sees here. And this is the last game. You got a month off after it, so leave it all out on the court, but maybe it could just be fatigue here, as the Lords have been in a tough stretch on their schedule.
Yeah, tough to maybe take an L in your last game in a month. So you got a lot of time to stew on it. Coach Clark has a lot of time to stew on it, and I can tell you one thing, he'll never talk to me again before a game and give me his keys, especially if it keeps going like this.
Last pregame interview for Coach Clark. And what's really tough here, John, is maybe looking at this week, the Lords looked at it, and two unranked teams, they're at home, they should win them. On paper, the Lords are the better team. And against the Huskies, they did what they needed to do in a straight set victory, but maybe they looked past this Colts team coming into this game, as the Colts have really dominated them here.
It was dug out there nicely by Terwilliger, sent over, and sorry, that's Athea Bonchef. I keep forgetting her name. Number 12 for the Lords. She smashes that one down. Do apologize to Bonchef. The Lords are set to serve here. Nicholson Clark. And she sends it long there, and that's been a common theme for the Lords, sending it long, Joey. Just a little bit too much on these services, trying to do too much. Just get it in and start a rally and try and win that way by moving that defense around.
Yeah, they haven't really been able to sustain much, as We've seen very few offensive runs for the Lords, have we, all night long, as they haven't really been able to hold serve. As that's Bonchef who's going to get a net violation there. She got all the ball, but also got a lot of net on that play, John.
As Cho smashes the ball away in disgust, I thought it was the net violation was going to be on the Colts with the way she reacted, but no, it was on the Lords. So Colts will retain their serve. Johansson digs that one out. Bonchef sends it over directly at Cho. Block there at the line. As Cho will send it over, dug out there by Johansson, sent over by Bonchef. Sanchez gets it up to Cho, and they get it over. Cho gets it over and smashes it down. Erin Marshall with her hands on her head. Wonder she thought for some reason it might have been a net violation, I guess. I don't know. She was looking to the referee for a call and didn't get one.
Yeah, she looked directly at the official right after the end of that play, John, and the fans not liking it either, as a couple of boos rained down on the referee there.
Johansson sends it over. Cho gets it smashed, but it's blocked at the line there by Marshall and by McBurney. Great job there, 6'1" and 6'2", getting up nice and tall, using their height to their advantage and blocking that Cho smash.
Yeah, that was a solid block there. We saw a lot of that early from the Lords, lots of double blocks, but that's kind of faded as this match has gone on as well.
And Marshall goes with the soft touch on the serve, does get that rally going, and unable to get the points there with the Lords as it gets smashed there behind, or into a spot that was empty once again in the backcourt.
And the Lords now down by 8, John, as this is a big hole for them to claw back from.
Vanden Heuvel sets it up for Terwilliger. Cho digs it out. Bowers gets it up for Cho, who sends it. Johansson digs it out, and Marshall has it there. And that is out, and called out and then called in by one official, and it will be Colts point out off the hands of Bonchef, I believe.
Yeah, that just a little far wide. It looked like it might have touched the line from up here, John, but that's obviously on the far side of the court for us. And
Sanchez sends it over, dug out by Vanden Heuvel, and Johansson looks to spike it over from the back line there. Sanchez sets it up, and it goes deflected off the hands of, I'll say, McBurney, out of bounds. It is a 10-point lead now, Joey, for the Colts. And Coach Clark is, I don't know, you have to take a timeout, I think.
I don't know if...
I don't know what you could say, but...
Yeah, it's a tough situation here for Coach Clark. He's already taken one timeout here in the set. He doesn't want to burn his second one too early, but you're right, down by 10. You got to call it soon and try and stop the bleeding, as it really hasn't been the Lord's night from the opening
Marshall
set.
Sets it up there. Terwilliger sends it over. Set up by Sanchez, sent in. No, it will be out, called out by the line judge as it hit him in the foot.
He was right there. He had a good view of it. So
Sarah Raymond has checked in for Thea Bonchef.
Got to get something going here, John. Got to find a rally.
She sends it right to Cho. Dug out by Sanchez, sent to pick off, blocked at the line, but they're going to call it Colts ball, Colts point. Out of bounds off the Lords. Cho with the service here. 17-7 for the Colts. Cho gets up. Dug out there by Raymond. Marshall tries to get to it. Got to send it over, and so Johansson gets it over. Sanchez sets it up for Bowers. Dug out there by Vanden Heuvel, sent over by Marshall. Bowers gets it. Pickoff sends it over. Raymond digs it out. Marshall sets it up. And they're deflected off the hands. A huge dig there by Sanchez as Chow sends it over for Bowers. Dug out again. This is a great rally here. Sent over by Terwilliger, but unable to do so. But it gets blocked. No, I don't know what happened there. As we're still going, pickoff. Dug out there by Vanden Heuvel, set up by Johansson, sent over by Raymond. Dug out by pickoff. Sanchez sends it up. Woods smashes it. Dug out by Vanden Heuvel. Marshall has it. She sets it up, and it's smashed, and it lands inbounds there. And that was
rally.
Jessica Johansson smashing that one down. And in the middle of that rally, Joey, it looked like a referee made a call, but he was overruled by the head referee.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to call a foretouch there on the Lords, but the head referee determined the first touch was on a blocking attempt, so it's not going to count against them. And the Lords find a way to rally there and get the point on a nice one there, but...
Just as we say that, wow. Pickoff gets up and smashes that one down.
Unrelenting.
Yeah, what a rally that was, though, Joey. That was the two teams went back and forth and really showed us how exciting this game of volleyball can be.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, but that's kind of a byproduct of what's been the problem for the Lords all night, John, is they haven't been able to seize momentum in this game. And you would think after winning a long, tough rally like that, they might be able to get some of that momentum, but the Colts come right back and hammer it down their throats, and they're just 7 points away here from taking a straight set victory on the road and maybe knocking the Lords out of the top 10 in the OCAA Ontario standings if they lose here.
Yeah, losing to an unranked team is never good for your standing or for your rating. There, Johansson digs that out. Marshall sets it up. Johansson goes and gets it, blocked at the line, but it looks like the judge called. He's going to come in and have he's going to check the poll, I think. Yeah, it's going to be. It'll be Colts point. I thought he was calling a net violation there. I thought they touched the pole, Joey, but they didn't.
Yeah, Marshall again having a word with the official at the end of that play, but the Lords not liking what they're getting.
Pickoff sends that one just long as it hits the outside of the line by maybe a couple inches. The Lords get back within 9 points here. They've got to go on a run, Joey. Johansson needs to hold service here. The Lords have to come back. Sanchez sets that one up and sent over right to Johansson, set up by Marshall. And Nicholson-Clark gets up and smashes it down. Blocked at the line there by Nicholson-Clark, and it will go out of bounds off the hands of the Colts. And the Lords get another point here as we look to retain service. Jessica Johansson gets it over directly at Hancock, set up there by Sanchez for Pickoff. Dug out there by Johansson. Johansson's going to get the smash there. She goes directly at Kadisha Powell-Graham. Bowers sends it over with a light touch and unable to react in time was Terwilliger. She was expecting something much harder. And the Colts jump back out to a 9-point lead, 5 points away from a match victory here, straight sets.
And this is a tough way to end the first half of the schedule for the Lords, John. That's going to be their 9th game of the year, 9 of 18. With the loss here tonight, they're going to fall to 6-3. A very respectable record, but when you go 18-0 last season, I know there's been a lot of turnover and we got a lot of young players playing on this team, but certainly not where they would like to be, as this is an opportunity wasted here for the Lords at home in the final game of the year against an unranked team to come out with a victory in a perfect week after defeating the Huskies on Tuesday.
Yeah, and just as we speak, Cassidy Nicholson-Clark smashes that one into the net. I was just about to say unforced errors have killed this team this whole entire match. And Coach Clark said at the beginning of the game when he spoke with me that that was going to be something they were going to have to key in on, that this Colts team was not going to, you're not going to be able to get away with as many unforced errors as they did against the Huskies, and that is shown in spades tonight as Vanden Heuvel digs that one out, and it's smashed down by Raymond. Just able to get that was Joe. Vanden Heuvel gets it set up. Marshall sets it up there. Raymond, and unable to dig that one out is Johansson. And the Lords are just 3 points away from losing in straight sets to the Colts.
That play was all set up by Joe. She had an incredible dig there to stop the Sarah Raymond spike, and the Colts find a way to get the point there and have an opportunity to serve here for the win.
Johansson sends it over the net, set up by Sanchez, smashed by Woods.
Long.
And they're going to say that went long, as it is back to a 9-point game.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I knew it went long, and then I saw the official's signal, and my mind got all confused. And it's not used to the Lords getting points here, John.
Definitely not, as Marshall sends it over, set up there by Sanchez, sent over by Cho with a big, heavy smash.
Wow.
And, oh my goodness.
That was pretty.
Elizabeth Cho with the huge heavy-handed smash there. A little bit of a giggle afterwards.
She just reached back over her head and smoked that cross court, John. It didn't look like she had a play on that ball at all. And then she puts it in a perfect spot and leaves the Lords looking speechless there.
Speaking about a perfect spot there, Sanchez sends that one directly on the touch line, and it bounces out as the Lords let it go. And the Colts are now serving for match. Sanchez with the serve, Vanden Heuvel. Marshall just gets it over. Hancock, and then Cho with the huge smash there, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Joey, the Colts have come in here and shocked the Durham Lords, maybe knocking them out of the OCAA rankings. They have beaten them 3-0, and the last set in convincing fashion.
Yeah, just a tough night all around for the Lords, as they really couldn't find anything going on offense all night long. In the second set, they looked like they had a chance to claw themselves back into this game, but the Colts just proved to be a little too much, as they couldn't, or as they held off the Lords and found a way to really dominate them here in a 3-0 victory.
Yeah, Joey, unforced errors killed the Lords tonight, and the men are going to have to pick up where the women were unable to, and they're going to have to get this win here tonight against the Colts men's team. And myself and Joey will have that call in about, we'll say, I'm just going to say 40 minutes, because that's what it seems to be. We'll never know. Maybe we'll get back to you sooner. The Lords lose this one in straight sets, 3-0 to the Centennial Colts. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.